Marci is one of the best offlaners right now in terms of heroes, even though she hasn't really been touched this patch. Let's talk about why Marci is one of the best heroes to play in terms of the offlane. Has a 53% win rate on Dota 2 Pro Tracker, and pretty much the sole reason is Helm of the Dominator. So let's break that down, and yeah, don't forget to subscribe. Alright, so this is pretty much the reason why. There we go. Great, fantastic initiation, perfect positioning from the backside, ends up wiping out both with an axe. I really like that. So basically, Helm of the Dominator has really good synergy with Marci in terms of both compensation, but also giving her more comfort in ganking alone. Obviously here they had some nice finishes with Axe and Shadow Fiend nearby, but with Helm of the Dominator, Marci has pretty much a free ally to rebound off of, to stun the enemies and punch them in the face with the Bleeding Fury, right? Bleeding Fury facet allows you, basically gives you an unleash combo after you leap, but if you can determine when you can leap, or rebound I should say, by using a creep, then you have a lot more availabilities and timings to use your unleash combo to finish enemies off, which is pretty much how you want to play offlaners after a certain point. So for Marci with the Helm of the Dominator, because you're getting in this at about 9 minutes or so, you can be really active pretty quickly, usually much more quickly than say traditional offlaners like Axe, who takes maybe a little bit longer because he needs his Blade Mail and Blink, or Legion Commander, same thing, Blade Mail, Blink. These are two very popular heroes. So, you know, rather than having to rely on the right support like a Lion or Spearbreaker, Marci can just kind of whip out any creep nearby and shove it towards her target before she rebounds on them, gets the free cook damage from your fleeting Fury facet, like I mentioned, and then move on with the rest of your day, pick up some farming. Now let's talk about that. Let's also talk about laning while we're at it too. Right, so building Helm of the Dominator on an offlaner is actually not that unusual, right? You used to see it on Dark Seer, you see it on Enigma. This was like years ago. Right now, it's really good for Lycan. It means your laning is much more comfortable, and that's the same reason for Marci, right? Helm of the Dominator means Marci opts for the key item, Helm of the Iron Will, and that secures your lane with health regeneration and armor, especially with an early point in Bodyguard or passive ability, or it can be kind of inactive because you could use it on an ally. And basically Bodyguard gives you damage and lifesteal. So that combination is really giving Marci a lot of comfort in the offlane where she previously had to play as a support. And that level of sustain means that Marci can be comfortable in last hitting to reach Helm of the Dominator faster at a relatively good time, like I said before, 9 minutes, which helps compensate for its more expensive cost versus, say, a Midas. Right, so you might be a little confused why we're talking about Helm of the Dominator versus Midas. And the answer is actually pretty simple. In 7.35D and 7.36, Helm of the Dominator grants experience and gold when dominating a jungle creep. And in 7.38C, a creep is now considered a creep hero. So items like Midas or like Pudge's Hook no longer insta-kill that dominate creep. The reason why they're so similar is that the lower cooldown for Helm of the Dominator, which is what, about 45 seconds, means that you can regularly cast and recast Helm of the Dominator, get the gold and experience, but obviously there are more value out of Helm of the Dominator, let's say a Hand of Midas, as we just saw with Marci for initiation, or you've probably seen other videos maybe with Facet Void and the ability to be able to farm equally, if not similarly quickly, as if you got a Hand of Midas, which would be a replacement for his typical item, which is Mask of Madness. So, I mean, basically, yes, HOTD is technically more expensive than Hand of Midas, probably is going to be your first argument. But on top of that lane security from the Helm of the Iron Will, which I just mentioned, it also provides golden experience like the Hand of Midas, more or less. And then on top of that, you also get the versatility of usage, right? You can use it to kind of help you stack jungle camps. Obviously, another way is that you can use it to initiate or counter enemies, or you can use it to push down a lane, like I talked about with Dark Seer and Iron Shell and Helm of the Dominator. You know, we don't see that all too much. Right, to keep it short, the trick is to always keep using Helm of the Dominator. Most people would just dominate their preferred creep and just keep it like that for the aura and damage, right? Like Alpha Wolf for damage and crit for Marci, or you can see here the purple satyr. I don't know what that purple ball is called. Some weird ass thing. I don't know what it's called. And that's some great AoE. Plus, obviously, the satyr gives you some nice regeneration for sustainability. And I really think that's all fine and dandy. Use those creeps to help you push towers or farm faster. Dominate creeps, as I mentioned before, have extra health, regen, and armor, bonus damage to do all those things. But if you're dominating a new creep every time Helm of the Dominator comes off its 45-second cooldown, you're basically gaining a lot more gold at a faster pace. Gold and experience, I should say. So unlike Midas, where you can have a second stack in case you're slow on using that Midas, Helm doesn't have any stack. It's like the old Midas. So every second you don't use it is really a second where Helm could have been used and already be on cooldown for its next usage. That missing timing is basically a compounded effect So over time, you'll have less gold than if you were more efficient with it. So let's talk about skill building. In case you don't know how to play Marci, right? You put a point in dispose early on to catch out, out of position supports, or you saw earlier where we killed Terrorblade. You're gonna max rebound first. It's good initiation for the lane. It's good nuke damage to jumpstart jungle camps when farming, and obviously it takes advantage of your Helm of the Dominator creep. The leap also means your creep gains movement speed to kind of close that gap if it wasn't already there. It also means obviously lower cooldown, so you spam rebound to take advantage of your fleeting fury facet to get some unleashed fury combo attacks in. Secondly, you max out bodyguard with the Helm creep. You're both sustaining with lifesteal. You're doing increased damage for each other for farming to compensate for Marci's relatively low attack speed. That's probably the second main reason why Helm of Dominator is really nice, is that it really hastens your farming, which I probably talked way too much about in the previous part of this video. Talent's really simple. Everything revolving around rebound is really nice. The 75 rebound landing radius, really good if you get the right timing, or if you hit a multitude of units, especially if they're played relatively clumped up. Level 15, 10% rebound movement speed is really good. Plus 100 dispose damage is fine. Obviously, it's not going to play. It's not going to be as valuable as the game gets later because it's static damage, but it can also be a valid option. The 10% rebound movement speed bonus obviously scales as it's a percentage. At 20, the 0.75 rebound stun duration is obviously very appealing. For additional stun means you can get 1 or 2 more hits in, especially with Unleash. Alternatively, I've seen people, because level 20 is much later in the game, I've seen plus 10% Unleash movement speed, but with the rebound, you should be able to close that gap and then dispose to keep them in place. And then lastly, at 25, Unleash duration extended by 6 seconds on kill. This is really good for Marci, who builds much later items. Builds a lot of late game items that kind of secure or help hasten the kill within that Unleash ultimate duration period. We might as well talk about items while we're here. Helm of Dominator, Helm of the Iron Will, first items obviously for the armor health regen and all the stuff we talked about, early game ganking with the creep, with rebound. Phase boot to some more armor and damage to hasten your farm. Helps you close the gap to initiate then with rebound, kind of a no-brainer as well. And then BKB is pretty much the first major item you have to buy on this hero, because when you unleash combo, it's a very specific duration. You don't want to interrupt it. You want to be able to deal all your damage within that period, especially with bodyguard having a limited duration on allies. I think you passively get it inherently regardless. Ag Scepter, basically the next time after BKB, you can either go Ag Scepter. It's massive value if you can get a relatively good timing. It means that you lower the cooldown for Unleash, your ultimate ability. It means you can fight more. Also silences, and all your abilities I think also do kind of AoE damage. So it's just a lot of great nuke damage on a lower cooldown, so your rotation are much earlier. You can start taking down towers with Unleash, or start taking down Roshan even as well. I've also seen people opt for an early Blink Dagger. This is so you don't have to rely on the creep and to rebound. You can just blink in, maybe dispose, then Unleash, and then you can, I don't know why I'm punching, but then Unleash, and then you can rebound for a follow-through stun if you haven't finished off your opponents yet. As you can see here, this guy, he's got Basher. Basher is standard due to Unleash, right? You're hitting a lot, so you have a chance to do additional damage from the bash. Right, so all in all, Helm of Dominator is a farming item that has a lot of synergy for heroes like Marci, as I mentioned before, or you probably saw it for players being recommended for Faces Void. Honestly, you can still go Mask Manage for Faces Void. I don't think it's a huge deal. And ultimately, it's meant to serve as value similar to Hand of Midas, but it provides way more application because the creep can do a lot more during the early stages of a match. Can't really do much of Hand of Midas. But obviously for creep, you can push lanes, tank jungle creeps, accelerate your timing to make to take down maybe some ancients earlier, because obviously the creep has more armor, more health regen, more damage, plus the lifesteal from bodyguard. For Marci especially, the stats from Helm gives you a lot more security in lane with Helm with Iron Will, and accelerates her otherwise mediocre farm. If you ever played Marci, she just farms absolutely horridly. She attacks so goddamn slowly outside of her Unleash. And this is all the while giving her the ability to solo gank enemies, since the creep serves as a rebound target. And that's essentially really just a beautiful package for an Offlaner. Now you could try it for safe lane. I think honestly it might be a little too committal for Marci, and I think you need a hero that can consistently farm and gradually increase her farming capabilities as the game gets later on. So in my opinion, she's not really a carry. With this build, she's more of an Offlaner. But for the longest time, Marci was pretty much played as a support. Now with the Helm, she farms efficient enough to be a core hero. That's pretty much it. Basically, Helm of Dominator is like a fancier credit card, right? It's got a higher annual fee, than a Midas, let's say, but you get more perks with it. In any case, if you like this video, check out my other videos like how Leshrac and Lifestealer are great this patch, and I'll see you guys on my Twitch live, or maybe at the international Twitch channel chatting it up. I'll see you guys later.